It's 7 p.m. Welcome.
All right, quiet on the set.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's start the party.
Broadcasting around the world. Polkas After Dark. This is your number one internet station. The music you love right here, right now.
OurBroadcastLink.com.
It's another live broadcast. Special edition. A walk through Polka Heaven. Now your hosts, Rob and Jerry.
Well, good evening, folks, and welcome to a very, very special broadcast this evening. It's called A Walk Through Polka Heaven, and the gal sitting right next to me, which you will see in just about a minute or so, is the one who decided to come up with the idea. We are excited that you decided to join us. We've got a lot of people here that have donated their time to send some videos in to us. We thank them so much. Throughout the next month, every Saturday evening from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., you are going to be entertained by some of your very favorite musicians, as well as some family members that have had folks that have passed. So once again, we thank you guys so much for joining us. And let's get things underway this afternoon, or this evening, I should say. Yeah, it's kind of afternoon because it's only 5 p.m., kind of crazy.
Just not as late as it usually is.
No, not at all. Yeah, Jerry's back, believe it or not.
Believe it or not.
After a 2-week hiatus.
Visiting Mom.
Yeah. You had a good time there, I take it?
I had a great time with Mom. I always do.
Good. You know, folks, again, we have said that we have a lot of people that have donated their time. We're going to say hello to people in the chat rooms throughout. But right now, we want to bring up a very special gentleman who has been a very, very lifelong friend to me and also to Jerry. But for me, a long, long time, and that's Mr. Don Kozak. And Don, why don't you take it away, sir?
Yeah, Robin, Jerry, first of all, thank you very much for your show, Polkas After Dark. Not only do Marina and I both love the polkas you play, but we really cherish the memories you bring back with many of the interviews. I'm really amazed at the background pictures and technology you have implemented in bringing this show. Very, very amazing. Regarding your session on A Walk Through Polka Heaven, there's no doubt many great musicians and promoters that come to mind for me. But for Marina and me, our pick would have to be Happy Richie and his polka band. Now that you got me thinking, I had to visit some of my boxes of treasures saved in our basement. Every time I see these boxes in my basement, I knew they were filled with great memories, but I just couldn't bring myself to throw them out. I keep wondering, why do I keep saving them? Well, regarding Happy Richie, Marina and I were first introduced to Happy Richie while listening to Stan Slaburski's Polka radio show on WHLD one Sunday afternoon in 1978. At that time, we were not really regulars. we weren't regulars at all on the polka scene. As a matter of fact, I only listened to polkas on the radio or on vinyls. That's a tradition I inherited from my dad. Marina's heritage, incidentally, was Lebanese, and she only tolerated the polkas on Sundays because she knew I enjoyed listening to them. Anyhow, that Sunday afternoon, we heard a song by Happy Richie. I can't remember the name, it was on the radio, but the Stan Slabowski show, and we absolutely loved it. And then Slabowski said that this particular band, Happy Richie, would be appearing at a dance at a place called Polish Falcons. Marina and I talked about it and thought, well, why not? Our children were now old enough to not need a babysitter, so let's go see this band. We went alone, but before the night was over, we met some of the most friendly people that we've ever met. Total strangers came up to our table, talked with us, asked questions, made us feel very, very comfortable. Our night was really enjoyable, and we couldn't wait for the next time we could do this again. Although neither of us could dance, we absolutely had a great time. One of the individuals we met that night was Bob Jelinski, who invited us to attend a meeting of something called the Happy Richie Social Club. He was evidently the band manager and president of the club, which started in, say, 76 or 77. So we joined the club, began going to local dances, and we were just consumed with the spirit of polkas. We were determined to learn to dance and would always follow Bob around the dance floor watching what his feet were doing. And then we would come home and we tried to duplicate these steps. It may have taken us years, but we finally picked it up. But our real inspiration was the powerful and the addicting vocals of Happy Richie, along with the super sound of his band. The violin, and Chris on a keyboard, and Tommy on a sax, and I think Bobby Roblewski was on a trumpet at the beginning. And anyhow, we also became very close friends with the band members as time went on, and the families of Dobies and Jelinskis. As a matter of fact, we both stood up for Tommy Miniszewski's wedding. Now, that may not sound like something, but it was actually the first time and only time that I ever stood up for a wedding. Then we were, of course, very active members of the Happy Richie Social Club, helping to organize dances and bus trips. In 1980, I was elected president of the club. I'm not sure who was president of the club year by year, but I do have some records. After Bob, Mary Natrusky came the president around 1979, and then me in 1980, and then me and Marion alternated until 1983. And then I was president the last 3 years of the Happy Richie Club, 1984, 85, and 86. In these files I found, I have the names of all the officers during those years. Names like John Zvaba, who supplied all the meats at the meetings, Stan Kidieski, Sophie Mammon, Lottie Harzinski, Francis Bolera, Jean Shipyota, just to name a few. I also have a list of all the members in the club in 1985. Can you imagine at that time we had 341 active members in the club? It was really a very busy and happy time. And also, around this time, I got to mention, and we met the Coils, Pat, Patricia. and who became very close friends with us in the polka world. They were a little like us in that they were new to the polka world at the time, and when you think of it, they were both Irish, and Marina was Lebanese, so it was an interesting click. But anyhow, for the next 40 years, we toured the polka world with many weekends, starting at Town Edge at 10 p.m. with a shot and a beer, and continuing with hot dogs at Louie's till 4 or 5 in the morning. We met many good friends at Town Edge. Can't believe we could stay up that late to this day. But getting back to Richie, the 9-year period, 78 to 86, was really memorable and exciting. Polka dances and good times were everywhere, not only with the full schedule of Happy Richie, but with many other excellent bands from the Buffalo area, like Scrubby and the Dynatones, Big Steve and the Bel Airs, Wanda and Stephanie, Steel City Brass, just to mention a few that we followed closely in the Buffalo area. On any given weekend, there were many choices for places to go to polka entertainment. Marina and I would attend 2 or 3 dances a week, and a social club get-together or a social club meeting in the middle of the week. Just to give you an idea how abundant polkas were at this time, I found a copy of the 1985 schedule for Happy Richie's Polka Band. It lists 80 bookings and 3 recording dates in that year. Many of those dates were out of town. And in addition, each year Marina and I would organize many bus trips to places like Idora Park, Conneaut Lake, Ludlow, Mass, Utica, Thousand Islands, Lake George, Cape Cod, Canada, Rochester, just to mention a few. I want to mention that during these trips, Richie and the band members would entertain us for hours on the bus. It was really a ball. I found which were written for the club by Richie or Bob, and which we would be singing while the band played during the trip. Songs like We're the Happy Richie Fan Club, Bus Trip Polka. If you got the time, I'll just give you some of the words of the Bus Trip Polka. It was, we're riding high in style today to a place that's far away as happiness we will spend together. All our friends are all aboard. The bus driver has our luggage stored. Nothing can stop us, even weather. We've got Happy Richie's Polka Band. If there's no seats, they will stand as music fills our hearts with fun and laughter. People singing polka joys with Happy Richie and the boys. We will be so happy ever after. A quart of vodka and iced tea. For some beer is right, you'll see. For a happy polka trip with you and I. Polka music we will sing as our people do their thing. Happy Richie's bus trips flying high. Needless to say, refreshments flowed freely. Reviewing this schedule brings back some incredible memories. I'm really not sure how we survived all that. Those were incredible times. What more can I say? Richie's magical voice and the songs he sang will remain embedded in us forever. Songs like Honky Style Polka, Nursery Rhymes Polka, How Married Are You, Marianne, Nickels and Dimes, Put On Your Dancing Shoes, I Love Polka Music, and many, many, many more. I'm really happy that eventful Sunday afternoon when we heard Richie on the radio, because it led us to the good fortune of making polka music a big part of our life. During those years and to this day, we have really enjoyed all the great polka festivals and bands around Buffalo and out of town. Can't say for sure if Richie was the only cause of this, but when we play any of his music today, both Marina and I truly believe it was the main driver. I know it's late, it's more than 5 minutes, but before closing, I'd like to mention my brother Stan, who's in Polka Heaven, also, with Richie and many others. Stan played a large role in all of this. He was much more involved with polkas and much earlier than I was. He knew much more about out-of-town bands and was very aware of new bands that were rising in other parts of the country. He almost always was with us on the bus trips, and he always talked about doing something to bring many of these bands to Buffalo. So around 1984, he began something called the St. Patrick's Polka Festival, which was a 3-day festival held each spring around St. Patrick's Day at the McKinley Park Inn. He later expanded this to include Labor Day after the Erie Polka Day weekend was stopped. And at these festivals, he introduced many new bands with first appearances in Buffalo. Bands like Toledo Polka Motion, Polka Family, Henny and the Versajays. I don't even think Ryan was born yet. He was an infant. And many, many more. Naturally, Happy Richie played at most, if not all, of these festivals. A particular good memory was his song, when he played his song Talking Dirty Hawaiian, during which my daughter-in-law, Annette, would get on stage dressed in a hula skirt, which added to the moment. Another particular memorable event I might mention is convincing Stephanie to appear. As you are aware, Stephanie dropped away from polka music for some years following her mother's death. I'm not sure how Stan convinced her to do it, but she finally agreed. She was introduced that first day by Greg Voitovich and recorded her live album at the McKinley Park Inn at that first appearance without her mother. Mark Chepash was doing the recording. And also I'd like to mention another person in heaven that we're close to, and that was Gino Ashulka, who was a promoter of the Ample Days weekend in North Tonawanda. Gino also organized many other polka events at the Ambets Hall on Ward Road in North Tonawanda. Besides Ample Day weekends, held every summer during this period, Gino always booked Happy Richie for his New Year's Eve party. Every year for I don't know how many years. It was always a sold-out event. There never was a question during those years where Marina and I would be spending New Year's Eve. Besides the great music of Happy Richie and his band, it was a great time to be with close friends and family. In addition to the music, the food, which was organized and much of it prepared by Gino's mother, was really incredibly good. I will never forget New Year's Eve at Ambets with Gino, Richie, the Jelinskis, the Dobies, the Coils, and all our friends and family. Well, I don't know if I provided any information here, but if it's all interesting in the polka history, and thanks again for all you're doing in the polka field. Perhaps this information could spark some memories in others who can add to this. Bye.
Wow, what an amazing presentation to get us kicked off this evening. Hey, and here, oddly enough, is Happy Richie with a tune called Nickels and Dimes Polka. We're going to be playing a bunch of different songs throughout the course of the interviews. Or I don't want to say interviews, but the folks that have kindly donated their time to provide a video for us, just like Don. Thanks, Don.
And on the corner when I was a child, and I'd play and sing as the people went wild. The sidewalks were crowded, but I just sang louder, singing for nickels and dimes. Nickels and dimes, the song of the times for nickels and dimes. I brighten their day as they go on their way, as they brighten mine. A sidewalk rehearsal for dreams I've had in my mind. I knew that someday in my own special way I'd repay all their nickels and dimes. As I stand on stage, as I play and sing for the people who pay. 'Cause finally I made it what's called the big time. But I know I owe some nickels and dimes. Nickels and dimes, the song of the times for nickels and dimes. A sidewalk rehearsal for dreams I held in my mind. So if you remember a child on a corner of time, you know that I wrote this to repay all your nickels and dimes.
That's one of our favorites, and we know, gosh darn it, if you're from Buffalo or Pennsylvania or Ohio or Michigan, wherever you got a chance to hear and see Happy Richie, that was one of the songs he entertained with. Hey folks, you're watching a very special presentation this evening of Polkas After Dark. It's called
A Walk Through Polka Heaven.
And it was created by the lovely lady that's sitting right next to me right over here.
But you did all the work.
Well, we're a team. That's exact. We're like the Bills.
I gave
We're
you credit when we started. But Robin did an amazing job running with this idea.
Thank you.
Because you did. You were fantastic getting people to send videos and putting it all together and all your graphics. I'm seeing a lot of this for the first time, and you're awesome.
We are getting, we're still getting a lot more videos. Oh gosh, we've got stuff from the Urbaniak family talking about Ron. We've got the Lukowski family talking about Michael. We've got Larry Birdsey sharing a couple of thoughts about Michael, and just a whole bunch of folks. But without any further ado, Don Kozak also mentioned his brother, and one of his favorite bands, of course, was Polka Family.
Got time for one more. Let's finish off with the Girl of My Dreams, Polka, off of our West Coast compact disc. We'll be back. Everybody get those hands clapping together. Help us out. One called The Girl of My Dreams, Polka.
This one's for you, Stan.
Dziewczyna, to mój sen. Dziewczyna, to mój sen. Come on, Kieszkiem z tobą dziewczyna, zamykam oczy, biega do śpiewanie twoja szmut. Moje serce śpiewa pełno, miłość było drugą, teraz miłość śpiewa pełno radość. I śpiewali, dziewczyna, mój serwis, to ma nie zryzem, to może zaria pali. Dziewczyna, to mój serwis, to ma nie zryzem, tylko może zaria pali. Yes, my heart sings out to the world whenever you are near me. Close my eyes with no surprise, the melodies I'm hearing. My heart sings about a love that once was full of sadness, but now the love it sings about is only full of gladness. Yes, and it's tonight, yes, tonight, the moon setting. Come on, you things that you come on, share, ba-da-da-da-da. Yes, and it's tonight. Okay, everybody help us out together. Okay, time for the change of pace. We are the Polka family. We'll be back. Let's go.
Oh, yeah. Boy, doesn't that bring back some memories from McKinley Park Inn. That is a live version of Polka Family. And you know, Mr. Don Kozak mentioned a whole host of bands, and one band that really meant a lot to me is Big Steve and the Bel Airs. And here's a tune that he did off of one of his very first recordings, a tune that he made famous around here. And just about every place that he went, they asked him to play it. Here's one called the Pod Mostem Polka. Here's Big Steve.
Pod mostem na moście stoją róże dwie czerwone. Pod mostem na moście stoją róże dwie. Obiecała buzi dać, ale nie dała psiamać. Nie dam ci, bo by było znać. Obiecała buzi dać, ale nie dała psiamać. Nie dam ci, bo by było znać. Jak chcesz daj, nie wolecie, masz rozum. Boś nie małe dziecię budzi nie będzie. Jak chcesz daj, nie wolecie, masz rozum. Boś nie małe dziecię budzi nie będzie. Obiecała budzi, teraz mówi, że mnie warty. Obiecała budzi, teraz dać nie chce. Nie będę, ja nie będę jeździł więcej dziewczynie. Obiecała budzi, teraz dać nie chce. Nie będę, ja nie będę jeździł więcej dziewczynie. Obiecała budzi, teraz dać nie chce. Obiecałaś, aleś mi nie dała, będziesz za to piekle gotowała, dziewczyno niewierna. Obiecałaś, aleś mi nie dała, będziesz za to piekle gotowała, dziewczyno niewierna.
we're talking here on a walk through Polka Heaven with Mr. Ernie Daigle from Massachusetts. Whereabouts are you from?
Originally,
Yeah.
Ware, Massachusetts, but I live in Chicopee.
Chicopee, okay. And what we want you to do, Ernie, is tell us a little bit about Happy Louie.
About Happy Louie, well, we know he started off at the St. Mary's Drum Corps Ware, and he had an early polka band. I can remember when I was young, my folks, when they would go out someplace, the babysitters lived on Buckley Court Ware, and there was a polka band playing at the time. When I'm 5 or 6 years old, I didn't know who Happy Louie was, but apparently it was his band practicing. And later on, I met him in 1971, the first time I saw him perform. I fell in love with the music, and it was at the Ware Armory. I went on a blind date, and like wall-to-wall people, like a bunch of people dancing in like a can of sardines. So how many people were there? And I just fell in love with the music and followed him ever since. And he's made a big footprint in the Western Mass area back in the early days. As we know, he recorded on the Rex label, the 6 LPs he did there, 4 LPs on the MGM label, and Halo, I don't know, I'd have to count them, I don't know how many he did there, but he's a lot of recordings out there. If you ever want him, you go to 3ws.happylouie.com. Yulcha has them available. She'll take care of you. And listen to the different radio stations. Basically, they all play his music. And Robin, you got something you want to add?
Yeah, I do. I wanted to ask you a little bit about your radio program that you've had. How long have you been on, Ernie?
Okay, I've been on 247polkaheaven.com for 10 years, but prior to that, I was on WMUA radio, answering the phone over the mic with Billy Bellina for about 13 years. And I enjoy the music. I enjoy promoting the music. And got to keep this beautiful music flowing. We do. Can't stop it.
Do you remember the first time that you heard Happy Louie on stage?
Yes, that was, like I say, 1971.
And where was it?
Well, that was at the Ware Armory in Ware, Massachusetts. National Guard Armory.
And was Yulcha performing?
Oh yeah, she was with
him.
him. Oh yeah.
She was with him the whole entire time.
So 1965 to up, she was with him, you know.
How about one of the biggest festivals that you ever saw him perform in?
Oh geez, Hunter Mountain. Went to Hunter Mountain when he performed. A lot of people there, and wherever he played, he commanded a big crowd. He knew how to work a crowd. He played for the crowd. You know, some bands, they play what they want to play. Well, Louie played for the crowd. You know, and that's what it should be. Every band should do that. You know.
Hey Ernie, thanks for spending some time with us.
Not a problem.
Reminiscing about the great Happy Louie, taken from us way too soon.
You got that right.
Hey, speaking of one of the polka greats, Mr. Dynamite, Happy Louie, here's one called Green Grass Polka, and everybody knows the words to this song, and if you don't, just hoy-die-die.
Pod nóżkami rośnie trawka, zieleni się słonkiem, a na trasę siedzi mania ze swoim kochankiem. Mama woła na córuni, mani szkoda odejść, bo dotychczas nic nie trudno było mamę zwodzić. Oj, córuniu, gdzie ty chodzisz, czego się zmieniła? I gdzie twe nóżki cię prowadzą i coś tam robiła?
Na weselu chłopcy grają na trawce zielonej. Na zielonej gęstą trawką wesele, wesele. I chłopcy grają, dziwki śpiewają na trawce zielonej.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Polka Dynamite, that's Happy Louie, entertaining you right here on a very unique broadcast, which we're going to be doing, as you can read up there. It says a walk through Polka Heaven every Saturday in October, and that's right, folks. We're glad you decided to join us here. We're a little bit early. It's, let's see, what time is it right now? It's 7:37 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be here until about 9 o'clock, maybe a little bit after. But, Jerry, why don't you mention some of the comments that are coming through? Start out with Ann Bozzarelli there.
Anne said, thanks, Don, opening the memories of years ago. Going to Louie's Texas Hot after polka dances, attending 3 to 4 dances or polka meeting dances, and going to work with only an hour or two of sleep.
Shocker.
And fun times with good friends that were met at dances. I agree with that. I met a lot of cool people at dances. Alice Fischler chimed in and she said, what an amazing video. Brought back a lot of wonderful memories of all the dances we went to, and especially McKinley dances put on by Stan Kozak. Also, all the dances we attended at the AMVETS in North Tonawanda, but put on by Gino. The New Year's dances were amazing. Good food, great music, and great friends. Happy Richie did a fantastic job. What more can I say? We enjoyed all the years we spent over in Buffalo, New York.
And Mr. Steve Brown is chimed in. He says, I love just seeing how bands and the musicians affected so many lives. Steve, you are absolutely right. Hey, you know, folks, you're tuned to a very special broadcast, not only tonight, but also every Saturday. We're starting at 7 p.m., going all the way till 9 p.m., maybe a little bit longer. From what we're seeing here from the response of folks in here, this is probably the largest crowd that we've had on all 3 platforms, which is Facebook, YouTube, and our broadcast link with the C.com. Let's see. Oh, geez. Do you want to say, let's see here. Say hello to Mr. Tom Kowalski. Tom says, traveled the Midwest area to see Louie, Detroit, Cleveland, Michigan, Indiana. You know, the anticipation to see Happy Louie was just phenomenal. What a great entertainer. You know, he wasn't just a fantastic musician, but a great entertainer. Hey, you know what? We have another great entertainer that's going to come up right now and kind of mention a little bit about a gentleman that's near and dear to all of our hearts, and that is Mr. Jerry Darlak. He performed with Marion Lush, Eddie Blazonczyk, and the Versatones. He performed with Jerry Darlak and the Touch. But here is Mr. Al Pietkowski to tell you a little bit about reminiscing about Jerry.
Hi, Polka fans. This is Al Pietkowski, and I'm here to talk about one of the finest concertina players I had the honor of playing next to, Jerry Darlak. Jerry lived for polka music and spent most of his life as a full-time polka musician. His larger-than-life personality always made you laugh. Besides rooming with Jerry during Eddie Blazonczyk's road trips, we hung out quite a bit in Chicago during the week. Jerry played with Little Richard and Marion Lush before he joined Eddie, so he knew all of the old-time polka musicians in town. Jerry took me along to many of the local polka spots and watering holes when we weren't playing, and introduced me to many of Chicago's polka musician legends, such as Donnie Patak, Jerry Potrańczyk, Don Lucky, Chester Filipiak, known as the Hoot, Tony Paliga, Wally Pala, Lefty Lewandowski, and the entire Ampolaires. The list goes on and on. I was like a kid in a candy shop. Jerry told me stories of how the polka scene was in Chicago when he was younger, how there was a line of people standing outside of Club 505 waiting to see Little Wally. They'd only let one person in when one person came out because the place was so packed. He told me about the heyday in 1970s in Chicago when there were so many polka places running dances that many of the bands didn't have to travel out of town to have a full playing schedule. Jerry was nicknamed the captain of the Versatones, and he called me his lieutenant, always taking me under his wing. Jerry had a way with words. He called his close friends Buddy Buddy. He liked to have drinky winkies. He called the doctor a croaker. A cab was a hack. And going out with a girl for an evening of fun was called Walla Wallaing. He was also the first one I heard calling our fellow musician buddies Brothers of the Note. Jerry had a huge collection of clown concertina player figurines. There were some that were identical pairs, but one was larger than the other. He would always point to the larger one and say, "That's me," and then point to the smaller one right next to the larger one and say, "That's you." Then we both laugh hysterically. I truly enjoyed playing accordion and concertina next to Jerry. He was the type of player that learned his part once and played it the same way every single time, making it easy for me to learn to play tight with him once I learned my part. Almost everything the box section played was together, Jerry on the lead while I played the harmony. Jerry was big on playing passing chords and had a solid, heavy left hand with plenty of bass walks and runs, which is why his concertina always sounded so full. He also developed a glissando on the right hand and a triple button push to go along with the triple bellow shake of the accordion, things that I've never seen any other concertina players do. He was always thinking outside of the box, no pun intended. After he left the band and moved to Buffalo, we always kept in touch. He always called me on Labor Day to reminisce about our yearly ritual of eating chicken together in our motel room while watching the Jerry Lewis telethon before our Monday evening gig in Somerville, New Jersey. We'd call each other at all times of the day or night, and 30 seconds wouldn't pass before we were both laughing hysterically. Jerry is just a fun person, like a kid who never grew up. And that's what made the time I spent with him so special. I miss you, Jerry. May God bless your soul. And also thank you, Robin and Jerry, for allowing me this time to talk about my buddy Buddy.
And that, of course, is Al Pietkowski, a.k.a. Al. Made a very famous footnote, not only with Eddie Blazonczyk and the Versatones, but also playing with the Dynatones for many years. Everybody remembers him. And Al is going to be joining us in future broadcasts to talk about Scrubby, also about Jan Simon and a few other fellow musicians that he used to be honored to play with. You know, Jerry, I never thought when we started this that it would have such a huge impact, not only on the people that are tuned in, but also on the folks that are dedicating their time to take and send these videos. Again, we've got a lot of people that are going to be on upcoming broadcasts. Didi Ogrodny, Didi Yashevich, is talking about her dad, Henry, also her brother Henny, and of course her husband Stash Ogrodny. So that's going to be coming up in a not too distant show, I believe, in the near future. Also, I mentioned the Nowakowski family. Craig, Janine, Joanne, and also their little granddaughter, Addie. They did a fantastic video that you guys are going to be seeing either next week or the week after. We've got a lot of people that have jumped in and joined us, and thank you so very, very much. Sue Darlak Howard is going to be talking about Jan Simon, and of course, Jerry, you and your family are going to be talking about Larry Chadwick as well, your late husband. But right now we want to play a song that will bring back a lot of memories. Here is Jerry and Al with a beautiful waltz.
wap bam boom. Wap babaloo bap wap bam boom. Wap bam boom. Wap babaloo bap wap bam boom. Wap bam boom. Wap babaloo bap wap bam boom.
Hey, we got to move with this one here. One more by Eddie Blazonczyk Sr. and the Versatones. Here's Darlak on the concertina. Here's one called Zakopane Polka. Thanks so much for tuning us in, folks. We're here till 9. Stick around.
Tam przy morskim łoku moja droga czeka tam na mnie. Zakłopanem za parę miesięcy będzie duże wesele. Zakłopanem za parę miesięcy będzie duże wesele. Zakłopanym my się ożenimy. Będzie góralsko muzyka grać. Na naszym weselu będą goście bawić się wesoło i kulać. Na naszym weselu będą goście bawić się wesoło i kulać.
That's the sound of Eddie Blazonczyk and the Versatones. You know, we've got Richie Coyce that's going to be talking a little bit about Mr. Eddie B. Sr. in an upcoming broadcast. Again, we mentioned the Nowakowski family. Also, we mentioned, Didi Ogrodny Yashevich. She's going to be talking. Who else do we have? We have Ralph Sabatini that's going to be coming up on future broadcasts as well. We are so overwhelmed, Jerry and I, of the participation that you folks have sent in, and again, taken the time to do some videos. We've got a lot more folks that are going to be sending some stuff, and I just hope that we don't go into November, but looks like we just may at the rate everything is going. Hey, folks, we are so sorry that we're not saying hello to a lot of you in Facebook.
I'm trying
YouTube,
to send love to everybody that comes in, just so that they know we are seeing them. It is a little bit harder to interrupt the show, so to speak.
Yeah. Hey, we have a gentleman right now. His name is Michael Janda, and we lost a very, very dear friend. A dear friend to the Buffalo Touch when I was playing with Mike Novakowski and Kenny and Ricky and all the guys and Taj. The gentleman's name, Jimmy Urbaniak, he passed away, and we want to just play something. There's actually two things that we want to touch on right now, and here is Mr. Michael Janda.
Hey, Nick. Like Janda, we're talking from the confines of the Third Order Social Club, which me and the young gentleman, the gentleman I'm about to talk about, were members of all our lives. His name is Jim Urbaniak, a constant friend of everybody, great musician, bass player, guitar player, also a great helper on the school bus for handicapped kids. That was his last love. He did that very fatherly way. Jim been playing music since he was 14 years old, with different bands, rock and roll mostly. Lately, I had the pleasure of performing with him in the Fossil Rock Band, on and off for maybe 20 years, maybe. As of late, he was in a group called the Brooklyn Roads with a couple other old friends of ours. Always loved his music, was very passionate about it. He was a good friend of polka music too, as you know, Robin. We went to see the Buffalo Touch and the Dingus Day and other things right now. It's a great loss. Great loss. He died on Good Friday night, very suddenly. Took us all by surprise. And we did get to see the Touch on Marty Grodzki Day at Sportsman. That was the last time we got to see him. So,
trying to get in that way.
Oh!
I didn't know you needed to keep up.
This is the place
How you are? How's
where
everything?
we busted chops, had a few drinks, had a great time. Yeah.
Ron just turned 80.
There it is, Third Ward Club.
Yeah.
Our good friend Grubby, Jimmy went to school with both these people right here. Grade school. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Yeah, we go back a long way.
Yes, very much so. So, and this is our Cheers bar. This is our place, and we all miss him. We pray we'll see him again. And Robin, thank you for this opportunity. Hopefully everybody will say a prayer for him as they see this video. And thanks again. We're doing this musical tribute to Jim on October 15th. His current band, us Fossil Rock guys, are getting together to do about 4 or 5 songs, and our other friends of theirs, Kurtzbeck Band. Whatever money is raised is going to the Summit Ed. The kids that Jimmy took care of on the school bus. And I hope to see some old friends there that afternoon, Saturday, October 15th. Thanks again, Robin.
Hey, we are sitting here with Diane Lukowski, CJ's wife. And Diane, thanks for joining us on Polkas After Dark here with a walk through Polka Heaven. And tell us just a little short story about CJ, why don't you?
Little short story about Mr. Frankenmuth, as we always called him. And the joke was, wherever Mr. Frankenmuth went, he always had his Sharpies to sign autographs.
Really?
Yes, because Mr. Frankenmuth. So that was our little joke. Another thing about CJ I was really proud of, he could play every instrument except my flute and piccolo because his fingers were a little too big to do that.
Oh, interesting.
But I tried to teach him, but it just didn't work. He never read music. That was another thing. He played by ear for everything.
So wait a second. So what you're telling me is you play flute
and piccolo, yes.
You still do to this day?
Yes, I do.
Oh, amazing.
Yes.
That's very interesting.
But I can read music. I can't play by ear, though.
Gotcha.
But he could play by ear and play everything.
Yeah, that's something that I've always done. I've never learned how to read music
No,
whatsoever.
I tried to teach him, and no.
Some people just can do it while others can't. But if they have the talent that they can do it without music, that's sometimes a bonus.
Yes.
In a way. Tell us a funny story about maybe around the house, maybe not around polkas or something that happened.
Happened around the house with
Yeah,
CJ.
not polkas though, not polka related.
I don't know. He was always funny. Just always made us laugh. Never a dull moment with him. Yeah.
That's
Yes.
So you said he played every instrument.
Every instrument.
That includes like accordion and bass
Accordion,
and
bass, concertina,
horn.
trumpet, clarinet.
bass.
Piano.
Oh, you played clarinet.
Clarinet, yes.
Did not know that.
That's very talented.
Well, Diane, thanks so much for joining us here
Yes.
on Polkas After Dark. Know that CJ is missed by the entire polka world, everybody that he touched. And we thank you so much for stopping by here at Polkas After Dark and a little bit of reminiscing on a walk through Polka Heaven.
Yes, thank you,
Thanks,
Robin.
Diane.
Yes.
We've got the beautiful Aubrey B. and, of course, the handsome Nolan K. How you guys doing?
Doing very good, Robin.
I'm all right.
Good. Hey, why don't you share a little story about Dad? Something funny.
Something funny. Okay. I feel like one of Dad's most probably valuable lessons to me was he took a little candle and he licked his finger. And he put it on the candle. And then he went to the emergency room. He said, never play with fire.
Yes, it's good burn.
Never play with fire. And I've never played with fire since.
Are you
Never played with fire
serious?
since. Never.
That is not a true story.
That is a true story, hands down. True.
Or you stuck I think
Emergency
a Barbie doll wand in his ear once.
Yeah,
that was funny.
I did that too. Crazy things. So what do you think one of
How about
Dad's?
you, Nolan?
Funny story that we got to see a lot of movies together. One of my favorites was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse together. And that was one of my best memories with Dad. It was
Now,
very
was that
funny.
in a movie theater or was it a DVD that you
It was
watched
in a
at
movie
home?
theater.
Okay.
Yes, and we got a huge bag of popcorn.
Oh, nice. But you had to wash it down with some kind of beverage, right? What did
I
you
think
get?
I got a smoothie. Or not smoothie, but slushy.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yes.
Cool. So how about anything else? Anything else
I
that
feel like-
comes to mind?
Definitely in polka, since this is a polka show. Dad, I feel like Dad was very charismatic. He could go up to anybody. He wouldn't even know them. Just like Aunt Rhonda he gets up there and he's like, "Hey, I'm here." You just go up and make friends with absolutely anybody. It doesn't matter what they look like, where they're from, and he could just go up there. There's a big smile on his face and just make friends with anybody. So I thought that was really memorable.
Cool. Anything else, Nolan, you want to add?
He used to work for a trucking business, and we went all around the United States. On my first trip, we went to Philadelphia.
You did? With Dad?
Mm-hmm. We went to the Hershey factory, and we also went to the Mr. Rogers Memorial, and it was very cool.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Do you have any stories about traveling with Dad?
I've got many stories. I don't know if they'd all be appropriate. lots of road rage, but yeah.
How about one?
We went to Wisconsin. We actually went to New York. That's kind of random, Wisconsin, New York. But yeah, we were about 54 miles away from New York, and I had always wanted to go to New York. Like the Grand Plaza Hotel, I was like, yeah, let's go. And he was like,
oh, you're talking New York City?
Yeah, New York City. We were 54 miles away. We were in Connecticut, and he was like, hey, do you want to go? And I'm like, wait, like New York City? And he's like, yeah, let's go. So we drove there. We ate lunch at the Cat's Deli down where every celebrity in the books had been, and and then we left. Like we were there for like 30 minutes, and it was fantastic. It was really good.
Yeah, we went to Amityville.
Amityville.
Yeah, Amityville, New York.
That was great.
Yeah, it was
pretty creepy.
They had a very good, a very good seafood restaurant.
Very.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anything more, Dad, Audrey?
Why you keep passing it on to me? Listen to you.
How about music? Was there a particular song that Dad used to play or sing?
What's that one that he did on that? It was number 8 on the breakdowns.
Oh no, it wasn't.
That was good.
Everything's Coming Up Roses.
Oh yeah, that was good.
That was a good one that he did. I think that was a new phase. That's a pretty good song. When I think of Dad's, like it's the most randomest song, but I think it's called Wildfire.
I think I heard that.
Wildfire. It's about the horse. Yeah, every time I hear that song, I'm just like, oh my gosh, he loved that song. So definitely that one comes to mind.
Hey guys, thanks so much for joining us here at Polkas After Dark. Audrey B, Nolan K. Hey, well, we are with Rhonda Lukowski, and let's reminisce a little bit about CJ.
Okay, Robin. So CJ started his band, a polka band, when he was 13, and where he didn't have all the theory, he was playing trumpet in school, and so then I assisted him with the theory and the chords and learning the songs, and we put the polka song set list together, and all through his high school years, we played in the bands CJ Lukowski and Polka Magic. And eventually we added our sister Renee on bass. And years later I played in my brother's band again, but this time under the name CJ Lukowski and the Crew. And a lot of people didn't know that CJ was a radio DJ back when he was 13, 14 on one of the Midland stations. I want to say it was like WOAP, something like that. But I was always really proud of him. He was a real funny guy. Everybody loved him. He made a lot of friends, and he had a lot of fun playing polka music.
So, Rhonda, what was your favorite funny memory of him? I mean, you grew up with him.
That you're able to share with everybody.
Yeah, that's the problem, is that we'd be able to share. Okay, well, I told this at the Celebration of Life. He tells me that I filled his Rick Vanecki jacket with peanut butter. That's what he tells me. I don't remember doing it. It's possible I did. From there, then he put peanut butter all over my Roland keyboard. Well, then there, I had to up it up one game. So I'm walking by his bedroom one day, and I saw it was kind of a mess. So I saw his trumpet there, and I thought, what can I do with this? I put his trumpet under the bedpost. I didn't break it. He did. When he got on the bed, he broke his trumpet. Years later, I bought him another trumpet, but so that first trumpet was flattened.
So that was a B-flat trumpet. That's a B-flat trumpet. Oh my God.
Listen, I love that kid, but I was just teaching him a lesson.
Unfortunately, at the price of the trumpet.
Yeah.
And Rhonda, and you are currently playing with what band now?
I play with John Roginski's Polski Chicks.
And you guys just released a brand new CD. What's the title of the CD?
Polka Lovin' Chicks.
Gotcha. And how many cuts are on that currently?
Oh boy.
Because I think Dawn had mentioned that there's a special track on there for DJs and IJs.
Really?
Something about a happy...
It's not on the CD.
It's not on the CD.
It is something that they're going to give
out
just to the IJs and DJs.
Okay. Well, that's exciting to hear. It might be, what is that, happy birthday then?
I think it is happy birthday.
Happy anniversary?
I thought it was happy birthday.
I thought she said happy anniversary, but I could be wrong.
Okay, possibly.
I can edit our arguing out.
Yeah. I know you're
That's why I'm just letting her roll with the flow.
Okay, so that's very informal then. And we can edit all of this out.
We can edit all of it.
Okay, thank
That's
God.
why I personally
Thank God. Now I'm not so nervous.
It's not live. No, it's not live.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Honestly, I don't know anything about the CD. I saw the cover. I haven't heard it.
She said she just didn't include one on there, and it was just going to be something special that, as a
For the
promotion, that she's going to send
DJs and
out.
IJs are going to
Okay,
receive.
I'm always the last to know about what's going on in the band. Yeah, he finds that funny. But it's the truth. It's the truth. People will tell me what I'm doing.
As opposed to you knowing.
Yeah, and then yeah, that's how it goes.
Hey, well, Rhonda Lukowski, thanks so much for sharing a story about your brother CJ. And once again, we thank you for joining us here on Polkas After Dark, a walk through Polka Heaven, the series that is going to be aired in October of this year, 2022. Thanks, Rhonda.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Jerry.
And that, of course, was recorded live in a hotel room over at the USPA. And speaking of USPA, let's see, we got a chance to chat with Helen Ray Bajiewicz. She's going to be on. Cindy Fisher-Haslow, the VP of the USPA. We're going to be chatting with her. She did a very, very nice video. Gosh, who else? We've got Diane Belunda, Karen Hootie, Jill Cerniak, Lori March, Ralph Sabatini. There's just so many to mention. Steve Brown, also Rachel and Robbie, Mr. Chaz Wroblewski's kids, daughter and son. They were kind enough to send something in. So we're going to have a lot of fun throughout the course of this broadcast as it goes every Saturday in October. But right now, here's a song featuring CJ. And you know, we do want to make mention that yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of his passing, September the 30th. God bless you, CJ. We miss you. We love you, buddy. And until we meet again, hey, here's a song featuring CJ on horn. It's one by the Brass Express, one called My Shoes Polka.
I say that I don't care, hold my head up in the air, even tell my friends I'm glad that you don't call. But when the day is through, all my heartaches start anew, and that's when I miss you most of all. My arms keep reaching for you, my eyes keep searching for you, my lips keep calling for you, and my shoes keep walking back to you. No matter what I pretend, wish I had you once again, since nothing else means half as much as you. My world just seemed to die on that day you said goodbye. I just can't forget no matter what I do. My arms keep reaching for you, my eyes keep searching for you, my lips keep calling for you, and my shoes keep walking back to you. My arms keep reaching for you, my eyes keep searching for you, my lips keep calling for you, and my shoes keep walking back to you.
Right now, here's another tune by the Brass Express. Here's a song called Wherever You Are, and we are so thankful that you decided to join us today. Don't forget to join us tomorrow as well.
Be wherever you are. You're my dream, you're my shining star. My life here would be so lonely without you, because I only want to be wherever you are. I wanna go wherever you go. Right or wrong, I'll still love you so. If you leave me, I'll be lonely. Say you'll stay, because I only want to be wherever you are. Czekam cię, droga krótka, cię daleka. Bez ciebie, cię smutno mi i muszę być tam, gdzie ma miła czeka. Muszę ja iść, ty też idziesz. Bardzo cię kocham, to też ty też. Nie zostawię serce smutno, muszę być tam, gdzie ma miła czeka.
I have been truly blessed to have such wonderful and loving parents in Hank and Lorraine Witowitz. My dad graduated from Defiance College in Ohio in physical education and was the only one in his family to attend college. He worked at Cedar Point during the summers. Dad was always busy teaching, coaching, and refereeing high school football, basketball, and volleyball games. He also refereed college football games every Saturday during the fall throughout New York State. In order to spend more time with his family, he always took Mama and I with him and made it an entire day trip and always ended with having dinner at a nice restaurant. He often worked at Cornell and even worked at Villanova once. It fell during Columbus Day weekend, so we made a long weekend out of it and also visited Philadelphia and Atlantic City. The most exciting trip was at Union College in Schenectady. They were filming The Way We Were, and Mama and I got to see Robert Redford from a distance, and Barbra Streisand walked right past us. Dad also worked on the side for the Lancaster Recreation Department. He worked very hard all of his life so we could go to Florida every Easter, rent a cottage in Long Beach, Ontario, and vacation in Lake George every summer. We got to see the Olympic sites in Lake Placid and Montreal. Dad and I were in our glory, and Mama was just along for the ride. She was really a good sport. Dad really enjoyed and was proudest of his job serving as a member of the Buffalo Bills chain crew for 19 years. He just loved being amongst all of the players and the action and being on TV, of course. He loved all of the attention he got from family and friends constantly asking him about certain calls and plays. Mama and I always called him Crocus Ham. He was able to get numerous autographs, including Joe Namath's for me. He loved playing golf and belonged to Lancaster Country Club most of his life. He enjoyed playing softball with guys a lot younger than him all the way into his 60s. For my parents' 35th anniversary, he took the three of us to Hawaii. He died at 86 and polka danced, played golf, and rode his bike down the road until 3 months before he went to polka and sports heaven. He has always been my inspiration and role model. He is the reason why I have the energy and motivation to work out every single day. After Dad retired, my parents became avid polka dancers. They just loved their polka friends and had so many fun times and great memories. They went to most local dances and followed the polka bands around the country at various events. Even though Mama was not Polish, she was a great sport and taught my dad how to polka dance when they were much younger. Dad turned out to be quite the dancer. Towards the end, Mama had bad knees and could only waltz. She did not mind that Dad danced with other women. She used to always kid around and say if they want him, they can have him. But I'm sure they'll return to him by the end of the night.
And that, of course, was Gail Voitovich, as she was talking about Dad Henry Voitovich, and a lot of us, not only in Western New York, but gosh, I can remember Henry Voitovich going out to Erie Polka Days over to Conneaut Lake Park. You know, Ricky Pianowski and I talk about that all the time with Hank and Lori heading over there to Conneaut Lake Park. That was one of his favorite places to go. He loved and supported all of the bands, no matter who they were, where they were performing. He and his lovely wife, Lorraine, were there front and center. Hey, folks, Jerry, why don't you go ahead and make mention real quick of something else? There's some people that have tuned in here.
There's a lot of people on here.
I know, I can see that, and that's great.
Yes, it truly is great. We do appreciate your support. Everyone is just chiming in with their own memories, which is so fantastic. We are so glad that you guys are here and that you are sharing more stories. I keep reading, like Tom Kowalski is chiming in and telling us about a bunch of different stories. And Dave Zhenka is like, oh, this happened. I remembered this and I remembered that. And just, I mean, it's amazing at the response. Les Kapuscinski chimed in and said it's an excellent idea. He's loving hearing all the wonderful and endearing stories about all the talented musicians. Keeping their memory alive with these beautiful tributes and playing their music is so nice. Well done, Robin and Jerry. Mark Schwoger chimed in and said he is very sentimental and feeling emotional about all of the interviews.
Yeah.
Steve Brown chimed in and said that he truly misses Henry and that he called him Grandpa and would give him a hug at every dance.
Yeah.
It is just, Beverly Nibel is over in YouTube land with me, and she said it's an excellent tribute to past musicians, which is so true. Yeah. And that's what it's all about. It's remembering those who aren't with us and are up in polka heaven without us.
And you know who else we really truly miss is a guy by the name of Jersey Polka Richie.
Yes.
And here is a gentleman, Jeff Tomchek, to tell us a little story that probably nobody knew about Jersey Polka Richie. Here's Jeff.
Hi, this is Jeff Tomchek.
Oh, you know what? Hang on. I have to double check something here because there was an issue with the audio. I do remember this, so let me just get this right over in here. And I think I can grab it and switch it real quick. In the meantime, Jerry, why don't you sing or something and tell? This is actually one that... Okay,
I don't think anybody wants me to sing.
Maybe not. Maybe you don't need to do that right now. Probably not.
Our little Jujubine is on here, though. We want to
is.
say hello to her. I am sure that Red is keeping her up when she should be sleeping.
Well, it's not that late, you know. It is only.
It is when you got a little baby.
Well, yeah, it's 8:22 p.m. Hey, folks, we also want to remind you real quickly that tomorrow afternoon, you know, we are going to be speaking live with Zeke Zenuasula. He is going to join us, and of course, he played accordion with the late Marion Lush for about 4 years, and then for about 30 or 32, 33 years, he performed live with Stashka Lanka and the Chicago Masters. That's right, he was one of the Chicago Masters, and we are going to be excited to get a chance to see and chat with him tomorrow right here on Polkas After Dark. And don't forget, next week, Saturday, we're going to be doing the same thing right here, a walk through Polka Heaven, and we do thank you so much for joining us. Again, we've got a lot of folks that have contributed a lot of videos. I'm going to see if I can pop this over now, and hopefully I can get Mr. Jeff on the screen here. Let's see what happens. No, you know, for some reason, this one clogged up. How about we do this? You know who else we have up? We have Mr. Ricky Crew and Dennis Crew, and they're going to tell you a little bit about their brother Tony.
Hi, this is Ricky Crew.
And Dennis Crew.
From the Crew Brothers. And first off, we'd like to thank you, Robin and Jerry, as well, for having us as part of your show, talking about our brother Tony. Tony was a brother like no other. You know, I can recall being in my younger years, and Tony worked 2 jobs, and he would always call about 6:30 in the evening, and the phone would ring, and we know it's Tony, and his question would be, "Did you practice?" And if you hesitated, he'd say, "If you had to think about it, you didn't practice. Get in there and practice." And it was funny because we're all in one house, and everybody, it would be like a music store. One would be in a bedroom, one would be in a kitchen, one would be...
I got stuck in the bathroom.
Yeah, everybody took their turn.
In the bathroom.
Everyone took their turn in there.
Yeah.
But he always made sure that every day that we rehearsed and practiced, and of course... when the band wasn't playing on the weekend, or even that during the week, there would be a band rehearsal.
But he always wanted the best for us. And one of the stories I think about and I recall is he thought I could be. He wanted the best for me. He saw something special in my playing ability and decided to move me. Jerry Voitovich was a great teacher, but he wanted more for me, and he would drive me every Wednesday down to the city of Buffalo to study with a guy named David Kuhn, who was the principal trumpeter in the Buffalo Philharmonic. And he would drive there, sit in the car, wait an hour, and he did that for, I think, 2 years to give me a chance to be the best I could possibly be.
Even you remember the days of Johnny Johnson's the combos on Broadway above Western Auto for guys who live in the Buffalo area, and there would be combo bands, and Tony would drop us off, and he would go across the street to Carol's, have a coffee, wait, or he'd stay in there and listen. He was very active and pushed us to be where the Crew Brothers amounted to.
But he was also very strict. I remember one time we're playing a wedding at, if anybody remembers, it's still there on William Street, but I don't think they use it, the Doyle 1 Fire Hall.
Oh, man, yeah.
Yeah, we had this small wedding, and we're setting up, and we're getting ready to play, and Tony looks down at Gary's shoes and notices that his shoes are dirty. And he says, "How come your shoes aren't polished?" He goes, "I didn't have time." And Gary was like 18 or 19 at the time, so he's older to where he can give Tony some pushback. And he says, "I want you to go to my car. In the trunk, there's a shoe shine kit. I want you to polish your shoes and come back out here. We're doing dinner music for now." So Gary wasn't real happy about that. So he goes and gets the shoe shine kit. Tony's playing, and I think I might have been playing. He takes a chair, takes his shoe off, sits in a chair, and opens up the shoe shine kit and pulls out a brush and he's holding a shoe, and he's polishing his shoes, and everybody was laughing because they kind of knew what was going on, and Tony actually bursted out laughing too. But it was a very funny moment that we never forgot, how strict he was about making sure that you looked the proper way when you were on stage.
He always wanted your tie clipped and your shoes shining, and everything had to look right. Appearance was very, very important to him, as well as the music. Talking about being on stage with Tony, I remember I joined the Crew Brothers back, I believe it was 1973, and when we were on stage, Tony was always busy playing accordion, singing, reading his music, what have you, and whenever he needed something, he would kick me in the shin and
go get a balance.
Yeah, no matter what he needed, get a balance, tell Al to turn the bass down or whatever he needed. He'd always kick me in the shin. Well, I'll never forget, on my 18th birthday we were playing, and he kicked me in the shin. And I looked at him, and I turned around, and I kicked him back. And he laughed, and he says, "Happy birthday, brother." You know, Tony always enjoyed making people happy with his music, and I can remember every Tuesday morning he would play at the McDonald's on Lawson and Union Road for the guys in the area, and he would play for the seniors, and every Tuesday he was there for an hour, and he'd draw a good crowd at McDonald's.
Do you remember the time that I went and called you and I said, "Hey, let's go down and listen to Tony"?
Yeah.
So Rick and I, we get in the car, we drive down there, and we get in line to order our food, and we're standing there, and Tony is singing his heart out to the people, and he's singing "Chiata Jepchina, Chiata Chiata," and there's two black guys standing next to me and Rick. And the one guy says to the other, he goes, "What's that dude singing? Is he singing in French?" And the other guy goes, "I don't know what he's singing, but that MF can really sing." And we kind of just laughed. And
so he pleased everybody.
I remember when we used to play conventions, whether they were polka conventions or just small polka dances out of town, and we traveled quite a bit. And we would go and do our thing, and people really liked us. And when we got done playing, most of the brothers would go to the bar, talk to the other musicians,
talk to the other musicians. We're talking to the girls,
to the girls, to the musicians, but not my brother. He would go to every single table and say, "Where are you from? Thank you for supporting us." He was the guy who
he was the promoter, and
he promoted, and he was always talking to people.
Make sure that people are happy.
Yeah.
You know, that's the kind of nature he had.
There's something that no one really knows except the immediate family about my brother Tony. When we were playing in the band, I remember I was just 14, I believe, when I started, and whatever grade I was in then. And the band was it was like 1969, and we were playing a lot. And when we finished every job, whether it was a wedding or a polka dance or whatever, at the end, Tony would give me and Alan $10. That's what we got for every job. And all that money went into bank accounts for Ricky, bank accounts for Kenny, myself, and Alan. Yep. And then when we graduated from high school, on our graduation day, we had a bank book. And Tony gave us that bank book.
Yeah.
And it gave us a start in life.
Yeah. I bought my first car.
Yeah, I bought my first house with that money. He cared about us making something of ourselves, and it's a good start in life. And finishing up here, I remember my brother Tony telling me this story about when he was a youngster. He was referred to by his classmates back when he was just in elementary school as the Red Rooster, because he had this bright red hair. And little did we know that later in life he would turn out to be a mother hen, as we lost our mom at the age of 46, leaving behind 7 sons. I guess the outside world will never really know of the guidance and dedication Tony showed his 6 brothers. I can honestly say that we are all better people because of my dear brother Tony.
And once again, Robin and Jerry, we'd like to thank you on behalf of the Crew Brothers for having us on your show today for this interview. And everyone who's listening, if you can all raise your glasses and have a toast to my brother Tony and all the musicians up in heaven. Nazdrovje, whoops, and Nazdrovje. Hey!
There's a tavern in the town, where polka lovers gather round, singing, dancing, and having a lot of fun as a happy polka band plays on. Let's all drink together, may our friendship last forever, as we sing together and the band plays on. I think, my friends, I think, yes, I think, we should have another drink. One more drink. And then the band will play the songs you want to hear. Come on down, relax, and have a beer.
One more tune here by the Crew Brothers. Here's one called I Never Knew Polka. And once again, folks, thank you so much for tuning us in here this evening. This is something very, very special that Jerry and I have put together. Actually, it was her idea. I just kind of did the electronics background stuff. And we want to say hello to Diane Belanda. Diane, I believe you're going to be on next week, along with Ms. Karen Hootie and a bunch of other great folks that assisted us at the USPA for some interviews. Here's the Cruise.
I never knew how much I loved you until the day we said goodbye. I never knew how much I missed you, how many lonely nights I cried. If I had one more chance to tell you how lucky I would be. For now I know how much I love you. Darling, please come back to me.
Walk through Polka Heaven.
I never knew how much I loved you until the day we said goodbye. I never knew how much I missed you, how many lonely nights I cried. If I had one more chance to tell you how lucky I would be. For now I know how much I
one that Don Kozak was talking about. Here's Happy Richie's band, a little bit of Talkin' Dirty in Hawaiian polka.
Chicken to the land of the tall palm trees. Aloha, good old Buffalo. Hello, Waikiki. Well, I just stepped down from the airplane and I hear her say, Waka nuka nuka niki, waka waka nuka niki, would you like to lay? Hey, let's talk dirty in Hawaiian. A whisper in my ear. Ataka waka 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 hini is what I like to hear. Lay your coconut up on my tiki. What the heck, a muka muka dear. Let's talk dirty in Hawaii and say the words I long to hear. Waikiki. It's a ukulele Honolulu sunset. Just listen to the grass skirt sway. Drinks at tons of pineapple at Honolulu Bay. Constantine accordions playing while talking with her hair. Waka nuka nuka niki, waka nuka nuka niki. Hope she said it right. Hey, let's talk dirty in Hawaiian. A whisper in my ear. Ataka waka 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 hini is what I like to hear. Lay your coconut up on my tiki. What the heck, a muka muka dear. Let's talk dirty in Hawaii and say the words I long to hear.
A walk through polka heaven.
I bought a lot of junk with my moolah, and I sent it to her folks back home. Mary had a chance to hula. I guess I should have known. We went off to see the sunset, and I heard her say, Waka nuka nuka niki, waka waka nuka niki. Hope she said it right. Hey, let's talk dirty in Hawaiian. A whisper in my ear. Ataka waka 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 hini. It's what I like to hear. Lay your coconut up on my tiki. What the heck, a muka muka dear. Let's talk dirty in Hawaiian. Say the words I long to hear.
Hey folks, you're joining us on a very special evening, and as Jerry and I had mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, we are going to do this every Saturday in October. Our new time, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We're glad that we've got a huge crowd here. There's going to be a lot of great folks that are joining us next week and the weeks to come. For example, let's see, we've got Lori March, Helen Ray Bajiwek, Cindy Haslow from the USPA. Gosh, who else do we have? Diane Belonda, Karen Hootie, Ralph Sabatini. Who am I missing, Jerry? Richie Coyce.
Mike Stupinski?
Mike Stupinski is going to be talking a little bit about Marion Lush Days. We also don't want you to forget that tomorrow afternoon we are going to be talking live with Zeke Zenuasula, and Zeke is also going to be sending in a video for in the next couple of weeks talking about Stash doing a real nice video, but we're going to be asking him a lot of questions tomorrow. Don't forget, we're going to be here from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Time, our normal time, for Polkas After Dark, where we get a chance. I need more coffee. That's what it is. We're going to be.
Oh, I made you a cup. I'm just drinking it.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, you are. Oh, nice.
I love you.
Thank you so much. That's great. Hey, and we also want to make mention, too, if you folks have a very special musician in your life or a family member that was very big and involved in polka music throughout your area or throughout the United States and Canada, please contact us at polkasafterdark@gmail.com. That's polkasafterdark@gmail.com. Send us a 4 to 6 to 8 minute video. We'd love to have you talk about your family member, your favorite musician who has left us, because there are just so many of them, and we're just scratching the surface, as you guys can probably imagine. But every Saturday in the month of October, we are going to be doing this from 7 p.m. until 9 p.m. Once again, Eastern time. I don't want to say Eastern Standard yet. When do we push the clocks?
No idea.
Back? Let's see. Is it back or forward?
November, I think. Fall
let's
back.
see. Spring ahead, fall back. Yeah. So it's
I
going to
think
be
November. Anybody know?
Okay, I'm sure they do. I'm sure somebody's
My phone
gonna be
does it
chiming in.
automatically. So.
Yeah, so do the computers, so we don't even have to worry about that. Hey, we want to say hello to some more people that have just jumped in. Barb Wozniak, thank you for your support, chiming in here on Polkas After Dark. This is a walk through Polka Heaven, a very special presentation. Also, we're going to say hello to Lisa and Greg Skovranek down there in Uniontown / Connellsville, Pennsylvania. Kathy Sargent out there in Cleveland, Ohio. Tom Kowalski, Michigan. Christine and Amanda Holchuk down there in Lower New York, Elmira, Ithaca area. Diane Belunda, of course. Cheryl Rogers. Hey, we hope you guys are doing well and are safe and out of harm's way with the storm down Ian. What's that?
I got 3 different answers. November 6th, November 7th, and November 8th.
All for turning the clocks back? Yeah. Oh, that's great.
So, honey, sometime in November.
I'll be able to catch up on 3 hours of sleep in the month of November. That's priceless. Yeah. Hey, you know what else is priceless, too, is you guys being here with us. And we want to say hello to all of the Buffalo Touch fans, because if you remember, Mr. Mike Janda said something really nice about Jimmy Urbaniak, that they are going to be having a benefit for Jimmy. Jimmy has passed, but any of the proceeds are going to a very special place and out in the city of North Tonawanda. So just get a hold of Mike Janda over here on Facebook, and he'll be able to assist you on the information. But it's at the Third Warders Club. It takes place October the 15th. And I think it would just be really nice if some of you guys, or all of you guys, would be able to head out there. But here was one of Jimmy's favorite bands. Here's a tune called Girls from Chicago, and here's the Buffalo Touch. By the way, Mr. Kenny Michalski is going to be doing a very nice video on Jerry Darlak and Mike Nowakowski, and probably a couple more that we have lost through the polka world.
Wokoło miesiączka gwiazdeczki latają. Wokoło miesiączka gwiazdeczki latają. Chicagowskie panienki tysięcy słuchają. Chicagowskie panienki tysięcy słuchają. Choć szukają, samej nie mają. Choć szukają, samej nie mają. Tylko jedną sukienkę, co na sobie noszą. Tylko jedną sukienkę, co na sobie noszą. Piątek pierdzie, soboty pracuje. Hej, piątek pierdzie, soboty pracuje. A w niedzielę cały dzień, łoleczkę tańcuje. A w niedzielę cały dzień, łoleczkę tańcuje.
Hey, here's a live version with Polka Family, a little bit of Mountaineers Farewell Polka. Dating way back to the McKinley Park Inn days that Stan Kozak ran.
Żegnam góralską góralkę, gdy się świat daleki. Oj, żegnam się moja miła, żegnam się na wieki. Oj, żegnam się moja miła, żegnam się na wieki. Jak powrócę w grudnym czasie, do domu do szoła, to się luba zaprowadza, na ślubu do kościoła. To się luba zaprowadza, na ślubu do kościoła. Do cieki idzie drugi, a nie widać sianka, a góralka zapomniała na słowa kochanka, a góralka zapomniała na słowa kochanka. Mija do ciek, góra wraca, mam nadzieję w sercu, że się z Milaną połączy na ślubnym kubęciu. Że się z Milaną połączy na ślubnym kubęciu. Poszłem góra do kościoła, widzi światło księże i pytać się noczelnego, że tu dzisiaj będzie. I pytać się noczelnego, że tu dzisiaj będzie. Oj góranu, jak ci mówią księże, jedną mimo nam rzeczono, dzisiaj nie wierzę. Jedną mimo nam rzeczono, dzisiaj nie wierzę.
That's one by the Polka Family Band, a little bit of Mountaineers Farewell Polka. Hey, folks, again, let's see. We've got about 7 more minutes, so we've got about enough time for one more quick tune. And how about a little bit of honky-style polkas from, let's see, how about Happy Richie's version? Here's one called the Honky-Style Polkas, written by Mr. Bob Zielinski.
Come on, Stash and Mary Lou, let's all join John and Sue. Let's watch them dance and sing. Let's watch them do their thing. They're playing honky-style songs as the beat goes on and on. Listen to that snare drum play. Everybody shout hooray. I'm gonna sing those honky-style polkas. I'm gonna sing them each night and day. And when I come to the part that says I love you, I'll think of you and the love we share each day. And when I come to the part that says I love you, I'll think of you and the love we share each day. It's easy dancing, honky style. All it takes is a smile. Twirl a girl from left to right as we play for you tonight. So let's raise our glasses high as the years go by and by. Polka music's here to stay, getting better day by day. I'm gonna sing those honky style polkas. I'm gonna sing them each night and day. And when I come to the part that says I love you, I'll think of you and the love we share each day. And when I come to the part that says I love you, I'll think of you and the love we share each day.
We're reminiscing about a lot of the great polka band members that we have lost throughout the course of the years. Many decades have gone by. Some have just left us recently. But we thank you guys so much for tuning us in here. We have our last tune that is coming up, and we thought, what an appropriate tune. Here's Eddie Blazonczyk and the Versatones featuring Jerry Darlak on the concertina. Here's one called Blue, Blue Day Polka. This one's off the Polka concert recording. Hey, don't forget to join us tomorrow, 5 p.m. We're going to be talking live with Zeke Zenuasula. Hello to Anya. She's here. Yep, your bro's going to be here tomorrow with us.
It's been a blue, blue day. I feel like running away. I feel like running away from it all. My love has been untrue. She's found somebody new. It's been a blue, blue day for me. I feel like crying, dying. What can I do? I feel like praying, saying, I'm glad we're through. It's been a blue, blue day. I feel like running away. I feel like running away from the blue. Cannot make believe that I don't sit and grieve. It's been a blue, blue day for me. I can't pretend and say that I don't love her anyway. It's been a blue, blue day for me. I feel like crying, dying. What can I do? I feel like praying, saying, I'm glad we're through. It's been a blue, blue day. I feel like running away. I feel like running away from the blue.
And don't forget, next week, Saturday, we're doing this all over again, 7 p.m. until 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Please join us for another walk through Polka Heaven as we have more folks that are going to be talking about their favorite musician and family member.
Upon the earth like Polka heaven.